Yeah. Hey. Yeah.
Pittsburgh Steelers fans, welcome back to the Blitzburg Squad. I'm Wesley Seeley, joined alongside Shane Smith. Thanks for joining us as we dive into the Week 8 recap of the Steelers versus the Ravens. Dude, we got the win.
We got the win. I was excited to be wrong. So
I was too, man. I'm glad you were wrong.
I was hoping to be wrong, and honestly, I thought out of any loss possible, it was going to be this one.
Right.
Like, if we were going to lose any game, it would be away at M&T after the Ravens have their bye to get a little bit healthier.
Yep.
And everything was just stacked against us,
Yep.
and we overcame.
Yeah,
So
we did, man. And I'm with you there. It could have been – this was definitely the one that was like, oh, you were kind of iffy about, like, going to Baltimore, playing in their place. Like, they had an extra week to prepare. Everything was stacked against us.
Yeah.
So I get it, but still had faith in our team, man.
I had to at least pick one loss to show that I wasn't just going to make him go 16-0.
I
Like,
am. I'm
like
gonna be the
some people.
I am. I'm guilty. I'll say it.
Now, if Ben wasn't playing this year and we were stuck with, say, like Duck or Mason, would you be the same? I for sure would not.
I mean, I would like to say realistically, I would be like, yeah, they're probably going to drop an L here, but the Steelers' pride in me would just be like, I can't say they're going to lose. I can't. I just can't. I don't know. It would be a tough one, but yeah, ask me last year, and I would have been like, flip a coin.
Oh, yeah. Literally flip a coin 50-50.
Right. But this game, man, was we knew it was going to be a tight one. We knew it was going to be close. We thought it was going to be decided by 3. It was decided by, what, 4? 28-24?
4 points. Yeah. My prediction was 27-24, which was Ravens, so but it ended up being 28-24
Wrong.
Steelers. So, hey, I'm okay being wrong on that.
No, yeah, me too.
I'm okay catching a lot of flack on it.
Yeah, you probably will. But yeah, dude, it was a close one and way closer than we want it to be. Like, I think we usually think, like, I don't know, it's probably going to come down the last drive. This one came to the last final play.
It did.
And sometimes it does come to the last, I guess, final field goal, but this was still on offense, still time to take away the game there. And
yeah, and I mean, overall, I think we could have killed the clock by other means, and just the play calling for offense was just horrible.
Right.
And we did. I don't know if it's that we called better plays in the second half than the first half. I think it's been executed better in the second half than the offense as a whole in the first half. I mean, first half we had like 45 total yards.
I don't know.
It was horrible.
Something horrible like that.
And I mean, it just seemed like anything the Ravens were doing, we had no answer for whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Which again, like we didn't do a no huddle. We didn't. We just kind of let Fiechner run the plays,
Mm-hmm.
and it just kind of reiterates that I don't like Fiechner.
Yeah, I mean, it's like when he's finally faced with kind of like a tougher test, because Baltimore's a good defense.
Right.
They were faced with a tougher test.
Number
it's
2
like,
defense in the league.
Yeah. It's like, why can't we put a solid game plan together to combat these guys?
And I would say that we even reverted back a few steps against them, because I don't think we tried any RPO.
Yeah.
And we, even though we were up at one point, I feel like we were going into this game like, we're just going to run the ball a whole bunch. Or, no, not run the ball. We were just going to pass the ball, which doesn't make any sense, because Baltimore's weakness on defense
was against the run.
Yeah,
we
were
talked
ranked
about
23rd, or 23rd or 26th against the run.
Yeah.
And we only rushed for like
43.
48 yards.
48.
Yeah, Connor had 47, and McFarland had 1, which McFarland, I think, could have had quite a bit more.
Tripped over his own flipping feet, man.
Yeah, he made that nice little shifty move, did it perfect, and then he pulled a Daniel Jones.
Tripped over invisible tripwire.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've seen that a couple of times through a couple of Steelers, because McLeod did that on one that should have been a kickoff return for a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I feel like that happens to Connor a ton, too. Like, he's always just falling down and tripping over, like, his own 2 feet.
I would say, like, the last 2 or maybe 3 weeks, I haven't seen that as much through him. He seems that when he makes those cuts or jukes,
more balanced or something.
he's making that juke and then hitting straight forward. And I mean, he's just there to go, which is great. But again,
in this game, I'll give a little bit of a pass because I know how they said the field conditions were really wet and it had been raining previously. So I'll give this one a little bit more of a pass for especially McFarland because he hasn't done it that much. But
Right, which I didn't see. Snell wasn't in there at all.
No.
And we had Jalen Samuels a couple of times, which he dropped that wide open pass that hit off his hands, and that proved to hurt. But I don't know. I was not satisfied with our offense coming in.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, you look back. So first drive after we got that pick six, we had the first drive, and really we're kind of just stumbling through it. What was the third down? Try to almost to be conversion to Claypool,
11.
and he fumbled it.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, we just got all the momentum getting the pick six on their initial drive, and then we come out on our initial opening drive for offense, and we pull a dud like that, fumble it, and then they recover.
Extend our streak of having a turnover to 2 games because we can't make a clean streak.
No, of course
it's
not.
like, okay, here we won't cause a turnover at all this week, and then we're gonna start piling up turnovers again. Like, and I feel like we're one of the only teams that seems to be able to do that consistently. Is make turnovers on our end,
right,
and somehow still win because so many of the other elite teams like the Chiefs and things like that, it's like, okay, they haven't made a turnover for like 5-6 games.
Yeah.
Like, why can't we do that?
Yeah. I mean, that's literally that. Sometimes that just comes down to be the difference in the game. So
yeah.
When we aren't turning it over, you're probably going to win more games.
Which it did this week too.
Yeah.
Because we flipped the script because that was our only blemish, but that blemish really got Baltimore going. From
that's
there.
what I was going to say. It was like that was the complete momentum switch. It's like we had it because we got the pick six, then we gave it right back. It was like, all Baltimore.
It felt like Tennessee all over again. As soon as we gave that big play to, was it
A.J. Brown?
Yeah, A.J. Brown last week, everything switched. And as soon as that happened, I was like, oh no. And then I think Baltimore got dialed in. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we're down 7, but the Steelers didn't score. We just turned the ball over. We're going to run the ball. And boy, did they, run the ball. But we'll get into that later. But yeah, it was just, even though we only had that one turnover, 45 yards in the first half is not a lot. We were keeping our defense on the field way too long, and their defense just seemed to have all the answers. And I don't know if that was their defensive scheming was doing great or
our game plan wasn't good.
Our game plan was horrible.
Play calling just didn't seem to be good.
No, and like you and I were talking about, we did none of the RPO, which I think could have worked a little bit. They were playing tight man on us, and so we made a lot of shots downfield, or a lot of short shots. And I don't know. I want to see more of that intermediate stuff. I want to see stuff 5 to 10 or 5 to 15 yards down the field. I don't always want to see Ben trying to complete a 30-yard pass because how many times has he actually completed those this year?
No doubt. Yeah. No, I can only think of a handful, and that's not very good because he's tried a lot more than that.
Yeah. Granted, we get bailed out a lot of the time.
Yeah, we've gotten a lot of PI.
Which is okay, and that just means that we're facing a lot of physical people that are really trying to stop what they know we have in Juju, in Chase, in Deontay, in Eric. But I want to see our offense actually pile up the yards.
Right.
We barely crossed over 200 yards this game, and so if you look at the yardage and nothing else, most people would say, oh, the Ravens probably controlled the clock and absolutely destroyed the Steelers on it.
Right.
And so you go back and you're looking, you're like, man, we're lucky to win this then.
Oh, yeah.
Because we just couldn't get anything going until, I wouldn't even say the first part of the third, but like maybe our second drive into the third.
Yeah, that's what I kind of was thinking. Finally got it rolling.
And we had, what was it, 6 punts throughout the whole game, which I want to say is our most in a game this year. It just, I don't know. I just wasn't impressed with our offense.
No, I'm with you. I mean, like, you take a look at the whole, I guess, first half, really. It's just a complete face palm. Like, that's all I can think of is, like, the emoji of the face palm, because you had Ebron had the ball like hit his knee. When
Yeah,
it was
literally.
It was a low pass, but still.
Right, low pass, hit his knee, and I was like, man, there goes 5 yards.
Right, a low pass there. Then you had Samuels drop that wide open one. Then you had Claypool fumble that ball. Then you had Ben throw on third down over Washington's head. And it's like, what is going on here? Like, can we just like settle down? Like, get something rolling. Like, Ben, like, get your team going here. Like, either if you don't like play call, if you don't think it's going right, then audible. Like, do something. Like, take control of the game. Like, you've been in this how long?
Yeah, don't always go with Fiechner.
Right.
I feel like, he's the offensive coordinator, and he ultimately calls the plays. But at the same time, Ben's been in the league for 16, 17 years.
How long?
You know, he has every right to be able to call his own plays or audible or say, listen, Fiechner, you and I have worked together how long? This isn't working. We need to change something up.
Right.
And I just feel like I don't know whether he just has so much trust in Fiechner or if that's just how the Steelers are. And they're like, no, like, you're not Brady. We're just going to – you're going to listen to us and we're going to make you win.
Right.
But then it's hard to validate because then whenever you see them run a 2-minute drill and Ben's making all the plays, we're so successful in it.
Yep.
So it's just frustrating to see that, we didn't make adjustments sooner. We didn't.
Yep.
We just didn't hit on stuff and instead put a lot of pressure on our defense over and over and over again.
Yeah, and you know what? Kudos to Baltimore's defense because, like, they're no slouch. It's not like we're playing, like, a Dallas defense, like what we play next week.
Right.
But it's not like we're playing them and our offense is just struggling because then we'd be really concerned. But we're playing a very solid defense. It's a rival division game. I mean, you're probably going to come out and struggle a little bit. So I get that. But, man, it kind of goes both ways. It's like, man, yeah, it's a rival, so you're going to struggle, but it's also like you've played them so many times. Like, you should know. And I know we haven't played them this year, but it's just like one of those things where you should know like how to play against them at this point.
Oh, yeah, because there's so many veterans on the team.
Yeah.
Juju's been on the team, 3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Johnson, this is his second year. Our offensive line has been together for how long now? Ben's been back there for so long. Connor's been there for 3 years as
4
well.
years,
And so it's one of those where you should know what they're going to call, what they're going to do, and that they always come to play tough physical ball.
Right, and the Ravens might look different this year, but they've always looked the same. Like, they're always going to be like the Steelers. They're always going to be a tough, hard-nosed team. Like, they're going to, they're going to run heavy. Like,
yeah.
And their defense is going to do their thing. But I don't know. It just seems like we could have done a little bit more on offense. It was just a little bit of a poor performance, a little underwhelming for us,
Yeah.
We just
I'd
anticipated
agree.
a little more.
And we ultimately get the win, so it's not something that you really want to spend a whole lot of time complaining about, but it's still, if you could have went up 14-0 or 10-0 in the first quarter,
then you're not they're probably not running as much. They would still be running at a good amount, but not as much, I bet.
For sure. Or we might have ran it more and had more success.
Yeah.
And in turn killed more clock and kept our defense off the field and things like that. So I guess with everything said on that, what would you give a total grade to the offense?
Man, it's tough because what was it? What game was it? I might be thinking like the Eagles. No, maybe not the Eagles. Maybe the Texans game. I'm trying to think of a game that we looked really bad on offense in the first half, and the second half we looked different. So now it's almost like a combined grade. You have almost two different separate grades for two halves.
It's definitely
not
separated.
Yep.
Because I would say like a D in the first half, and then I would say still not perfect, but much better in the second half, and so I'd probably say like a B or a B plus.
That's what I was thinking.
And so I'm going my overall grade. I'm saying it's a C minus.
Oh wow.
just stuff to be desired still. And we didn't make a lot of mistakes, but the fumble is kind of what pushed it down a little bit for me. And just us abandoning the run, because I think we would have did better if we would have ran it more and taken more time off the clock, because we only had like 24. Let me see for sure.
Yeah, 24 minutes, something.
24-38, I think, is what we had
time
of possession, and that's a lot to put on your defense.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, when they brought up the stat like later in the game of how many plays were on the field, it was like some.
Yeah, it was like 30 was the difference. Or close to 30 was
Yes,
the
we were like
difference
in
in
the
plays.
like 70 plays of defense on the field, like
Mhm.
absurd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna say I say C plus, only because the first half was horrendous. Like that was definitely underwhelming. I wish I could have seen more out of them in that first half. They did abandon the run, which I didn't like to see, and that fumble by Claypool was very unopportunistic.
Right.
Right after that pick six, man, we could have really done with that. But the second half, I really liked what I saw out of Ben. He like looked like he was taking more control of the offense. I mean, you saw him out there making audibles to his wide receivers, reading the defense, and then just having he had like 8 completed passes in a row, or 7 or 8. Right in a row.
Because he originally was like 1 completion in the last 9 attempts or something like that,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he hit 8 in a row.
Yeah, it's like he got fired up, and he was just nailing these passes, just being able to read, take what he was getting. So I liked what I saw there, and then that pass to Claypool at the end of the game, our last score there, was sweet. That was a nice timing route to the outside. Nice pass.
It was gorgeous. Honestly, I didn't think Baltimore did as much to keep Claypool in check. He didn't have a lot, but then whenever you look at and Ben threw for 180 some yards, Claypool had 50 or 60 yards of it. So I was surprised that Baltimore didn't hold Claypool more. Well, they probably did hold him more physically.
Yeah,
but,
yeah, probably.
Because I know Juju had came in and was like, yeah, they're probably going to put their best guy on me, Humphrey on me. And I was like, man, I understand Juju's probably, has burned them before, but Chase has been our...
Right. Yeah, because I think Peters was on him majority of the game. I could be wrong, but...
Which, fine, whatever.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Uh-huh.
But, it's funny because Johnson I don't think he had a catch by the end of the game.
I don't even know if they targeted him.
Yeah, I mean,
they did on the pass interference that wasn't called.
Oh, right.
That was the only one that I can think of.
And I don't know if James Washington was even...
Yeah, he was targeted when Ben overthrew him.
Right, it was like
on that
Ebron,
out
Juju, and Chase Claypool the whole game, which is fine. I don't care how you have to spread it around. Whoever wants to get involved. It was really cool to see Juju fighting for extra yards. Every single catch, he was just fighting, man.
Yeah, he acted. I mean, he acted like he should have. This game was a must win.
I'm saying it, man. We need to get him re-signed. I don't care what the heck we got to do. Just sign that man.
Yeah, and I would hope that Juju likes us enough to kind of do what Baltimore people did, because Humphrey had just signed that 4-year, $98.5 million extension. Well, then Ronnie Stanley, who went down this game, he had signed another extension. He could have made more because he's considered the best left tackle in the game, but he took a $4 million, $98.5 million extension so he could try to re-sign more people instead of him completely blowing the bank out. And so maybe because Juju's stats aren't that great and he loves Pittsburgh and I think Pittsburgh loves him, maybe he'll be why don't you shoot discount. Me for why don't you give me a couple throw me for a couple of years, give me some more money, and then maybe down whenever this virus and we have more cap, we can work on some and kind of prove myself again.
I just like him so much. He's such a great team player and such a physical wide receiver, and we Chase has been a physical wide receiver too, but he just, I don't know, Juju's that tough, grinded out kind of wide receiver,
and he's so young.
He is, and he loves Pittsburgh, I feel and Pittsburgh loves him. I can't see him in any other colors than black and yellow.
Right, and I mean, I can't even remember who it was, but when he came to us when he was 19, he didn't have a driver's license. He was biking everywhere.
He was biking it, yeah.
And I mean, people from the Steelers took him under his wing. Some of these veteran guys that have been with us forever, taught him how to drive, got his driver's license and stuff like that. So I hope he just has that emotional connection. That
and remember when his bike got stolen? Yeah. And somebody from Pittsburgh, I think the guy ended up returning it to him or something. Somebody found it. So Pittsburgh, came together, tried to help him too. I don't know. They just need to resign that guy.
I agree.
Just a quick little rant. But.
We have to make it happen. I'm sure there's flashier people we could get, but I would much rather have Juju than some flashy guy like AB who could cause a rift in the locker room.
Oh, yeah. So. Juju's awesome. Okay, so let's switch it over to the defense and talk a little bit about them. I liked what I saw. I mean, obviously, first drive, pick 6 by Spillane.
Right.
Dude,
I love Spillane.
Spillane, where the heck did this guy come from?
I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know if this is our first year having him, second year having him. I'm not sure about that. But,
I think second year, because I think I heard somebody say like second year player or
maybe. And I know we were questioning, like, man, why is UG3 always inactive?
Yeah.
Why is this Spillane guy here? Like, what's he doing? And then it comes out whenever he has to fill in, like, no, he's been performing in practice.
Right.
And, man, has it translated to the field.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's making those big hits, those big nasty hits, and people are like, well, he's slow. I think somebody said he's as quick as a Mack truck, or hits like a Mack truck, but slow AF. and it's like, okay, I don't care. He makes a pick six, so guess what? He's got some sort of burner because he outran people, including Lamar Jackson, whether Lamar was on the ground or whatever. I don't care. He ran for the pick six. He picked up a fumble. He had a pass defense. He almost picked up another fumble. I mean, he seems to be everywhere we need him to be all the time.
Right.
And people can give him all the hate in the world. I don't care. I love this guy.
Right. And this after this game, after the pick six, and how he's just read the offense and been able to play on defense, plug and play. This should silence all of the chatter about should Steelers trade for, or who should Steelers try to pick up free agency. Like, no, like we got our backup, we got our guy for this year.
Right.
Like,
yeah,
we're good.
If I'm saying we're trading for anybody, it's for depth on the line at this point.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Alualu went down, and then Hayward, and so we don't know the severity of that. Chris Wormley's already on IR.
I know.
Like, if anything, forget about linebackers. We may need some defensive line depth.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get Aaron Donald.
Gosh.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, it'll be interesting. When's the trade deadline done?
Tuesday.
Oh, is it really?
I want to say it's like 4:00.
Wow. So they'd have to make something happen quick. I just wonder, like, hopefully Cam's isn't severe, because we definitely need him. But you saw, like, early on and often, to talk a little bit more about the defensive line, like Bugs, when he tried to play for a Lulu's spot, like, he wasn't playing good at first.
No.
Like, he finally started
it took him a little while to get in, and even Tomlin said after the show, like, yeah, he wasn't making plays. He needed to do something.
Sorry.
Like, he was brutally honest, and rightfully so.
Yep.
But yeah, I really hope that Hayward's isn't severe, especially, we just signed him.
Did they come out and say what it was?
They have, and I think they're still. And I know he walked off, but I know his knee was banged up. It happened on a run play.
He didn't walk off very easily, man.
No,
he was
didn't.
like on, like,
he had
hanging
two
on
guys help him. And that's something that I wanted to talk about too. Baltimore Ravens fans, they have absolutely no class whatsoever.
Oh, because they booed?
Yeah, they booed. And I think they originally thought that it was because Hayward was trying to, like, slow them down and things like that. But there was still boos happening as he was getting help off the field.
Maybe too. And I thought about that too. Is like maybe they were mad, like he was trying to fake an injury to stop, like, their momentum, but they were trying to run down there to clock it anyway. So it stopped the clock because of our timeout.
Right.
So, like, in theory, like, I don't think it didn't affect him. Like, it should have only helped him.
Right, exactly.
But,
and so I was like, no, Baltimore fans that were there and doing that have absolutely no class, because you've seen how much pain he was in. Like, he's a big guy and can take a lot.
Right, and he was already injured before, so you should have known, like, it wasn't just...
Right, something was going on. And so I was like, man, like, that just frustrates me. Yeah. And I wanted that win that much more at that point.
Yep.
I was like, I want to stick it to these people, and they can complain and do whatever they want. I don't care. Like, when you have no class, I really could care less what happens to your team.
And respect to the Ravens, because, like, they usually play us pretty well. It doesn't really get too nasty like it used to, like when we used to play the Bengals or something, like, or even like with Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. But, like, it stays pretty good for the most part. So, like, I'm fine with that. But, like, yeah, the fans, that was uncalled for. I feel like that.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever they were booing for didn't supersede his, like, risk of injuring something serious, or you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like,
and that's like when Ronnie Stanley went down.
Yeah.
Like, granted, the Ravens were very concerned about it, but, like, you've seen Steelers defenders.
Yeah, I think Cam and TJ.
They were coming up to him and, like, making sure he was okay, and, like, giving him, like, their personal feelings and things like that, just to show respect to a great person. And it's like, that's how it should be. It shouldn't be like, boo, you got injured, now our drive's gonna stop because of that. It's like, no.
One last thing to say on that is, like, if it was Pittsburgh, if it was reversed, I would be kind of embarrassed that we did that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, I'd be like, dude, you their guy just went down. Like, one of their best defensive players just went down. Like, it'd be like Campbell going down, and, like, our Steelers fans booing, it's be like,
right.
no.
Or if we like clocked Lamar and took him out of the game and somebody cheering because we took him off the game. And it'd be like, no, that's not how this goes.
Exactly. For sure. Yeah, that was a little unfortunate, but I didn't like to see that or hear that, I guess, but
right.
It is what it is. But hopefully he's okay. I'll be interested to see kind of what comes out on him.
Yeah.
If he has to miss a week or two, I think we'll be okay, but we will have to pick up somebody, I think.
For sure. I don't know who else is on. Well, we have
Mondo or
who's that veteran that we cut finally, but he's on our practice squad. Big boy. Cut him over.
Are you talking about McCullers? Because he went somewhere else, didn't he?
Big Dan McCullers?
Yeah.
Did somebody pick him up off our practice squad? Okay. Maybe.
I could be wrong, but I thought he went somewhere.
Okay. He may have, because I was like, he was sitting on ours, so
he could plug in and play.
Not that he's great,
but
he at least knows the system. It wouldn't take him time and things like that. It'll be interesting to see come Tuesday, because we probably won't get a report until Tuesday, or maybe even not until Wednesday when they start doing practice reports, how Cam and them are doing. So it'll be interesting Tuesday to see if we make a move and it's a defensive lineman, something's going on, whether it's Alualu, whether it's Hayward, whether it's both of them. So something to kind of keep an eye on.
For sure.
But so Ravens offense throwing it. It didn't look that great. He was under with the sacks and everything, and it ended up being under 200 yards, but I think he threw for like 204. And I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's not the Baltimore Ravens, it's the Baltimore running backs. Because Lamar can't throw.
No, he can't.
Literally, the throw, there was one, Mark Andrews literally curled it to get the first down and was standing wide open, untouched, 3 yards from the line of scrimmage, and Lamar threw him
was that towards their last drive?
Yeah, and he had to reach out to try and grab that.
Bad pass.
And it was man, I could have made that throw, and I don't know how to quarterback.
Right. You know what solidified it to me too was later in the game. I think it was in the fourth quarter, 8 or 9 minutes left. They started running the ball again really well, and I was like, it was the drive where they just ran it the whole way down, did not pass it at all, and I was like, that just solidifies that they don't really trust him.
No.
Because, you think if you have a quarterback there, you'd at least throw in, a pass on one of those. I know the run was working for him, so, whatever, stick with it.
It wasn't until, 3rd and 5 in the red zone that they threw the first pass.
Right.
And then it ended up being he dropped back, then he ran for it anyways because there was nothing open immediately. And so he was just like, nope, I'm not going to let the pressure get to me. So he was just, scrambling like he was scared. And then that fourth down, he just literally dropped back, didn't even look at any of his progressions like it was a design run, and just tried to run for it then as well.
Yeah. It was after the interceptions he threw, it was they're like, yeah, you know what, let's just stick to running.
Let's not do that.
But, kudos to the Ravens, though. Dude, they were running it so well.
Oh, man, they averaged, between the three of them, they averaged 5.6 yards a carry, and Gus Edwards J.K. Dobbins averaged 7.6 a carry. And he had 113 yards total.
Jeez.
We gave up 265 on the run, and we gave up, as a defense as a whole, 400-plus yards of offense, which is the first time we've done that all year.
That's rough.
But what did you think of the defense? Did you think a lot of that was their fault, or?
Honestly, no, I don't, because overall I think they played a great game, in my opinion. And I think a lot of it had to do, they were just affected by how bad the offense was playing, because the offense was only on the field for, I don't know how long the time possession was in that first half.
24 and a half. Well, yeah, the first half.
Full game?
Full game, 24 and a half minutes.
So, yeah, I'd hate to see what it was in the first quarter or the first half, because it just seemed like the defense was on the field the whole flipping first half, and they were just getting, it was running play after running play after running play. So, yeah.
They were gassed.
Yeah, so,
it was 176 yards we allowed in the first half.
Yeah, and so that, to me, on paper it looks horrible. And, on paper, if you didn't know the score, you'd probably say, wow, they probably got slammed. But, it's man, that your offense was doing you no favors.
No, not at all.
It kept you on the field the whole time.
And if we were sustaining drives, even near the end of the game, whenever we sustained a drive where Ben literally threw it the whole length of the field, we were only out there for 5 minutes. And I was like, man, that gives the Ravens quite a bit of time to still be able to run it. That doesn't force them to throw that at this point.
I know. It was like even when we finally put a drive together, it wasn't very long.
No. And so I agree with you. Normally I'm pretty harsh on the defense, but you get 4 sacks on Lamar, you get 2 picks, 2 fumble recoveries, and 2 other fumbles that could have easily been grabbed.
Yep.
And Spillane made a heck of a play to try and grab the other one. It was just, by a fraction that he was out. I have no blame on the defense. I would say I have a blame on Butler on certain plays because Butler kept out Spillane and Williams on some things a little too often and put Snead. Snead was on Williams or Spillane a couple of different times whenever they were throwing the ball. And that kind of led to some openings. And like I texted you, I was like, man, this gives me Keenan Allen flashbacks.
Yeah.
But other than that, I can't fault our defense for what happened because, when you're literally sitting down for 2 minutes, then getting up to go play again, stuff's gonna happen.
Yeah,
and we made the most out of what we could to
exactly.
This was like last year. Our defense kept our offense in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was 17-7 at halftime. And
I think we were lucky to be at that point, too.
Oh, yeah. It could have very easily, if Spillane didn't get that pick six, and if we didn't hold them a couple of different times, it could have been 31-0 at halftime.
Yeah, I was going to say 24-27-0.
And so our defense kept us in it and only allowed them to get 7 points in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I have no issues with what
the
defense did.
The 4 sacks? 4 sacks, right?
4 sacks, yeah.
So, the 4 sacks and the turnovers that we created were huge in this game. I feel like everybody played a good game, though. I can't say there was a glaring weakness other than maybe the linebackers, and that wasn't really their fault. It was just more so Butler putting them in bad positions. The only good pass I think Lamar threw was on the touchdown, the very first touchdown to, I think, Devin Duvernay. It was like a corner route, and Vince actually had pretty decent coverage, but it was just kind of a nice throw because he just broke off his route.
Even running backs can make nice throws.
Yeah, even wide receivers too. But that wasn't really Vince's fault. He was actually in pretty decent position, but that was just kind of a mismatch there, and they just took advantage of it. So it wasn't really one weakness I can think of on the defense because everybody did their role, played their part, did well at it. But
Right. Yeah. No. I would say the glaring ones that hit me was the rollout that left the middle of the field wide open.
Yep.
I was like, man,
that reminded me so much of that Eagles game because they did that same play
with Fulgham.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, man, come on, guys. And then the other one was on Terrell Edmonds, and that was at the end of the game where he came up. And I'm still not 100% sure why he came up because you should have known at that point it was obvious passing and to just kind of stay back and wait for it. And so he kind of bit and then had to run back real quick. And at that point, I don't know if it was Duvernay or Brown or Snead or who the heck it was. I want to say it was Duvernay.
That's what I think it was Duvernay, too.
And he made a 40-yard catch or whatever, which kind of solidified making Lamar look a little better than he did. And so other than those, the runs sucked, but the Baltimore's just really good at having great wide receivers that can run block. Their tight ends can run block. Even their backup linemen can run block.
They're built around the run.
And it's hard to do whenever you have a quarterback as fast as Lamar and then 2 really good running backs that literally can keep each other fresh.
Right.
To not, to not give up that stuff. It's just next to impossible.
Yeah, exactly.
And we did, honestly, everything we could. We punished
Lamar
hitting him all day.
Yep.
You're handing the ball off, we're going to hit you. You're keeping the ball, we're going to hit you. And up until late game, I really don't think it was hurting him until he had to go back to pass. Then I think he was kind of okay, they've been hitting me all game. I don't want to get hit while passing the ball.
Yeah. It was starting to get to him. I don't know. He's always just kind of looked sporadic when he plays us. Even the game last year when he played us in our defense, he just didn't look the same. And
no, he hasn't looked the same this year, though.
No, he hasn't, especially passing.
Yeah, no, passing horrible.
Jeez.
He might have 1,250 yards passing through 7 games.
His QBR is horrible. He's horrible against pressure.
We probably have somewhere around the same with Ben, but I guess if you win games, it's whatever.
Yeah, true.
For both teams.
Right.
But
might not be flashy, but it works.
Right.
Is there a grade you'd kind of give the defense in your eyes?
Yeah, I'd say a B plus. I'd like to give them an A, but there was just a couple of small things that I felt like they could have did better or could have been coached better for the correct play calling.
Right.
That they weren't perfect, and yeah, it was a lot of the offense's fault that they were set on the field so long. But at the same time, giving up as many yards as they did, it's something you don't like to see. So B plus with a little room to grow, but I still overall don't think a lot of it was their fault.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you there. I think it's a B plus because if we would have seen maybe less of the mismatches, better play calling, that might have helped bump the grade up a little bit more for me. Maybe an A minus, but yeah, even having all those yards, it might have been the offense's fault. We still allowed it, so technically it's like I can't.
Right, we very much played this game of bend, don't break.
Yeah, and if the offense would have did their part and helped the defense out a little bit more, I could have seen the defense getting an A from both of us in this game. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because they caused the turnovers, they got the sacks, they were pressuring them. Like they did well, but it's just all the yards with all the running yards they allow is just
right.
Kind of a tough one, but. Yeah, I'm going to go with B plus there. Special teams, we didn't really see anything out of Ray McLeod this time, but he didn't really have any opportunities.
Yeah, they didn't give him a whole lot of opportunities. Boswell still did good.
Right.
He just had to do field goals. He didn't have to do any extra points,
right.
not any field goals, but he's been solid this year.
Go ahead, talk about your favorite player.
I dislike this man so much, and I dislike him so much that we got him back, is Jordan Berry. He is crap.
We're going to buy his jersey for you right now because you picked the Ravens to win. It's going to be your punishment. You're going to have to wear that for your next.
I think I'd rather wear a Ravens jersey than wear a freaking Jordan Berry
wow.
jersey. I do not like this
That's
guy.
Rough,
we
man.
cut Dustin Colquitt because he had like 42-point-something average. Jordan Berry threw 6 punts, who can quote-unquote moonshot it, had 42.2 this game, and it wasn't. And what saved him was his last punt, which was along a 56. So he would have had under 40-yard average because he freaking shanked another one. If we lose a game, it's going to be because Jordan Berry's going to freaking shank the ball like he did to the Bills last year. I don't like this guy at all.
Don't get you started. Sorry I said anything.
Put in the rookie.
Was it Wake Waitman or something?
I don't remember.
I don't remember.
Yeah. Put the rookie
at
in.
this point, right? I mean, you might as well try it. If you're bringing back a guy that you already knew like was inconsistent, you're like,
and he just showed that he's inconsistent again. This guy frustrates me week in and week out.
I probably don't dislike him as much as you do, but he definitely gets on my nerves because of how inconsistent he is. So, B. I don't know what yours is going to be. I'm sure it's going to be rough. I'm going to say. I'm gonna give them B plus. They didn't do anything horrible, and just inconsistencies of Berry will drag it down.
Jordan Berry gets his own grade. If Dustin Colquitt gets fired for something very similar to a Berry performance that he had today, and Berry's not gone,
right.
Berry deserves worse than an F grade. The rest of the special teams I think did okay overall, so I'm gonna give them I'll say a B plus. Screw Berry.
He gets his own grade, huh?
Yeah, he gets an F. I don't like the guy at all. I don't even care. If he made a moonshot for like a 90-yard punt, I'd still give him an F. Just because I know the next punt would be 3 yards.
29. Shanked. Yeah. Well, man, it's sweet. We still got the win, even though, there were some glaring weaknesses on the offense to start the game, and defense gave up the yards, but part of that was on the offense, so
right.
we know that. But
gives us stuff to work on.
For sure.
It gives Tomlin and them stuff to coach.
Yeah, but dude, 7-0, and like where we're at just almost midway through the season now is like to be still undefeated, especially playing who we've played at their place, Titans and Ravens back to back. Even the Browns, I guess, at our house too was a decent test. Like I don't know, it's just it says a lot about this team where we're at and the coaching. And I know we discussed before I guess earlier today, we talked about how like little we are penalized. Like we haven't like had very many penalties, and that's like been such an Achilles heel for us in the past seasons. And I feel like we always get kind of caught sloppy in the beginning of the year and
kills drives.
Start slow, right? Exactly. So it's just cool. Like we're 7-0. We just have a really good feeling about where we're headed, especially after that challenge. Like that might have been our biggest challenge this season. So it's cool, man, that we're 7-0 and
yep. 7-0, still undefeated.
Yep.
And honestly, I want to say like this last 3-game set was our toughest one. The Browns, the Titans, and the Ravens all at the same time. That was our toughest test because after that, it's Bengals. I want to say it's Dallas,
Cowboys.
Bengals, Jaguars, maybe Bengals again.
Bills.
We have the Bills, Ravens, and
Browns. Is that all 8?
I think there's one more in there that
I wasn't counting, but Colts.
Yeah, Colts. And so like this one just 3 winning teams right in a row. When people were saying who
have they played?
Yeah, who have they played?
Sick of hearing it, man.
Yeah, you can't say that anymore. And even if Raven fans want to say it, guess what? You lost to the Chiefs as well. So
yeah, and the Ravens, they're a good team. Like, look who they've lost to, the Chiefs and now us. So it's like, I don't know. Like, they're a solid team too.
Yeah,
Titans are still a good team. Even though they lost to the Bengals, they're still a good team. I'm convinced. I don't know what happened today.
I think we just sucked all their power from them.
Maybe, man.
And now they're just gonna. I hope they don't spiral.
Ride a losing streak.
Yeah, that would be unfortunate because I think they're a solid team as well.
They are. I think they'll bounce back, but who knows when? Maybe later in the season, but second half.
Well, like I was telling you, if we whenever we were down that much, I wrote you and I was like, maybe we just need an A kicking because and honestly, that's what we had the first half was an A kicking, and it's like, okay, we're not we're not perfect.
Right.
We're not impenetrable. Things are going to happen. Let's get back into gear. And that's what we did the second half. And that's all that matters.
Yep.
So overcome adversity.
Which is weird because we've been more of a first half kind of team this year.
Yeah.
And then this game, it's just cool to see the resiliency because sometimes in past years, we'd either drop games that we should win and, just fluff up a game. We're just finding ways to stay in the game and come back in games and just control games. It's cool, man. I like where we're headed.
Yeah, one way or the other, our offense bails out our defense bails out our offense, and it is great to have that because most teams in the NFL don't have that.
Right, and this is the most balanced Steelers team I can remember. I mean, seriously, because think back to the years that we had the killer bees.
Right.
Offensive front loaded for sure, but that defense was
right.
You know what I mean? It's we were always nervous when we played a passing quarterback. It's uh-oh.
Yeah.
So, but I like it, man. I'm super pumped. This was a huge game, and now we really kind of take control of this division, really.
2 games ahead.
Right. So, I like it, man. We're sitting at a good spot. We just got to keep things rolling, and we got a easy schedule.
Yeah, we
do.
do.
The remainder of the year. So,
yep.
I know we got to play the Ravens again. That'll be another good game.
Yeah, Ravens, Bills, but the Bills look pretty defeatable right now. Their defense is bad, and Allen's hit or miss. And the Colts, they seem to find their groove, but it was against the Lions, so it's
not much saying there.
Right. Did they just have a good game, or are they finally turning it around? And it's yet to be seen. So.
Right. Yep. For sure. Cool. Well, you have anything else to add to this?
No, not to the game.
Okay. I guess we'll just do a quick reminder of the giveaway. So many of those of you that maybe not have seen the post for the giveaway, we're going to be giving away a Fanatics gift card. All you got to do, 3 simple steps. Like our last video for the preview for the Ravens game, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and then also just comment on the video for the Ravens game too. Just kind of let us even know your thoughts. You can comment anything really, and then we'll just kind of randomize the winner for the gift card. I think we're going to be announcing that, Wednesday on our video?
Yeah, Wednesday. The cutoff will be Wednesday at 5 o'clock.
Right.
And so that would be Wednesday, November 4th.
Yeah.
At 5 o'clock is when we'll have the cutoff. And, I know we've seen a lot of people on the Facebook page or things like that, and we appreciate that. We really do.
Right. Yeah.
But just kind of click over onto the YouTube one, hit the
it's
like,
got to be on
comment,
YouTube. That's the rules.
And that way we can kind of do the randomizer appropriately. But
right.
we just kind of did this as a thank you for those that have watched us and been with us and those that want to kind of join in and hopefully help us moving forward.
Right, for sure. And like we said, too, you don't have to be Steelers fan. You don't have to be a football fan. I mean, Fanatics has all kinds of stuff on their website for all kinds of sports. So just like, comment, subscribe on that, and you'll be entered to win. So That's all I got, man.
Yep.
You good?
I'm good.
Sweet. Well, we'll be back later this week to preview the Cowboys game, right? Cowboys next?
Yes.
Sweet.
Yeah, they play here in
Tonight, right?
Yeah, about a little less than an hour, so that'll be interesting to see. I think it's a rookie plan, so
Right, we'll watch that one.
see if the Eagles can get after him. If they can get after him, then we should have no problem getting after whoever's their quarterback.
No kidding, for sure. But yeah, we'll be back. We'll be back this week to preview that game and all things going into that game. So, but until then, I guess go Steelers.
Go Steelers.